everyone. In the last class, we were discussing about the concept of the government, governance, nation, states, constitution, constitutionalism. All these terms, okay, we have discussed in the last class. So, what is constitutionalism? What is a constitutionalism? Okay, it is an idea which limits the power of government. What is the state concept? What is the state? It should have a geographical boundary. It should have centralized administration and sovereign state, okay, and political centralized government. So those things, okay, are there with regard to state. What is a nation state? What is a nation state? What is a nation state? So we have got nation plus sovereign state. Okay, when you have a sovereign government plus nation, okay, that is called as a nation state. And what is a nation? We discuss nation is okay, cultural and okay, social, okay, association, okay, association of people. So that okay, we discussed with regard to nation. So we have covered nation, we have covered state, we have covered constitution, constitutionalism. What is the difference between government and governance? What difference government and governance? Government is an institution and governance is what are the ways, method and processes that you are adopting to govern the country. That is called the governance. Fine. So finally we started with the concept of okay, companies rule, and we discussed under the companies rule first act we have covered, which was a regulating act 1773. Okay, so the first act that we have covered was regulating act of 1773, and we discussed okay, when East India Company came for the first time, they occupied the political power where in the Bengal. They occupied the political power in the case of Bengal. And what are the political power? They got the revenue collection power. They got the revenue collection power in case of Bengal. And we discussed okay, this revenue collection power was beyond the scope of the company because companies were okay, created for commercial activities. Okay, so companies has to perform which type of activities? Commercial activities. For this only the King and Queen has issued the charter. So King and Queen has issued the charter, and companies has to perform which type of function? Commercial function they have to perform. But companies okay, got the political power by which treaty we have discussed? Treaty of Allahabad. Okay, so Treaty of Allahabad in 1765 they got this particular power. And we discussed companies had the presence in three areas. One was in UP, one was in Bombay, Madras, and Bengal. Bombay, Madras, and Bengal. So we discussed in all three regions, governor used to be there. Governor used to manage the administration. They used to manage the administration. But with the regulating act 1773, what change has been brought? The first change that we have discussed is what? The governor of Bengal became what? He became Governor General of Bengal. So henceforth, Governor of Bengal will be called as the Governor General of Bengal. And Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras will now be under the control of who? Will now be under the control of Governor General of Bengal. Clear? So Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras, earlier they were independent. They were independent, taking decision independent, but they can't take decision now independently. They have to take approval now of Governor General of Bengal. So this is okay. First okay, important provision we are finding. Clear? Second important provision we discussed was what? The Governor General of Bengal should have a council. Yes, they should have a council, and the council should consist of how many members? 4 members. So this council will advise nothing but okay, this council will advise the Governor General of Bengal. So right now we discuss okay, you have Prime Minister, and to assist Prime Minister you have Council of Ministers like Defence Minister, External Affairs Minister. Like that okay, you have Governor General of Bengal, and to assist okay, Governor General of Bengal you had okay a council consisting of 4 members. So that was okay another provision. The third provision we discussed okay was companies officials were barred from what? They were barred from accepting any gift or indulging in which type of trade? Private trade. So they were barred from accepting any gift or indulging in any kind of private trade. So that is okay another major provision that we are finding. The fourth major provision we discussed in the last class that okay Supreme Court was created in Calcutta. So this was okay another major provision we are finding. Supreme Court was created at the Calcutta, and we discussed okay another provision that to assist the Governor of Bombay and to assist the Governor of Madras also there should be a Governor Council. There should be Governor Council. So this is okay the provision we have discussed with regard to Regulating Act of 1773. But we discussed okay in the last class that Regulating Act of 1773 has created certain problems, and that's why a new act came which was called as what? Which was called as the Pitt's India Act. So a new act came which is now called as the Pitt's India Act 1784. So what are the major provisions of this act? Pitt's India Act is 1784. The first thing that we discuss is what? That the Regulating Act for the first time recognized which function of the company? Political function of the company. Earlier companies was only performing which type of function? Commercial function. Regulating Act recognized the political function also. So that's why now in the Pitt's India Act 2 bodies were created. One was BOC. BOC used to be called as what? Board of Control. And Board of Control should be responsible for which type of function? Political functions. So political function for this Board of Control will be responsible. And second we discussed was COD. What is COD? Board of Directors. And they will be responsible for which type of function? Commercial function. So the first thing that you see is okay separation. In this Pitt's India Act, you find the separation of political function and commercial function of the company. These two functions were separated. So this is okay the first important okay provision you are finding under the Pitt's India Act. Clear? Now, the second important thing it says BOC composition. What is going to be BOC composition? So it says it should consist of okay. It should consist of nothing but okay a secretary plus 4 members of Privy Council. Okay, and this member used to be nominated by who? This member used to be nominated by the British Crown. British Crown. So British King and Queen will nominate. Okay, King and Queen will nominate. And okay, total of 6 members is going to be there under the BUC. Okay, so 4 members should come from where? 4 members should come from the Privy Council. Okay, so in Britain there used to be a Privy Council. From there 4 members will be nominated and they will be looking after political function. So for the first time you see Crown is taking control over what? Now Crown is nominating the members. So Crown is taking over the okay which type of function? Political functions. Crown is taking over which type of function? Political function. So now the Crown is bringing their indirect control. Crown is bringing their indirect control over the company. So we discussed ultimately the company is in case of India, but okay now Crown is taking okay taking or regulating the functions of the company by controlling nothing but controlling the BOC. So BOC composition was something that was also mentioned under this act. Clear? The third major provision that you find under this act is that earlier we discussed to assist the Governor General of Council. How many members were there? 4 members were there. But there was a certain problem with the 4 members. What was the problem? So 4 members, okay, when they used to advise on what if the decision split 2-2, then what will happen? 2 members are agreeing on a decision, 2 members are not agreeing on a decision. What will happen in such situation? Okay, so there was a certain problem arising because of 4 members. That's why Pitt's India Act reduces from 4 members to 3 members. So the Governor General Council now should have how many members? Should have 3 members. Okay, so this reduction was done so that majority can be taken. majority can be taken. So this was okay. This was nothing but okay. Another major change okay that were done under the PITS India Act. Okay, and this PITS India Act says that whatever territories companies are occupying in India, whatever the territories company have under India, whatever territories company have, all these territories are what? All these territories are British possession, or it is a crown territory. It is not company territory. So the company is just okay functioning on behalf of who? Company is just functioning on behalf of crown. Okay, company is just functioning on behalf of crown. So by this time, okay, you see nothing but okay, as we discussed, company were controlling Bengal. Okay, they were trying to expand in the case of Madras, in Bombay. Okay, they were trying to expand in different areas. So whatever territory companies are having in India, this is not company territory. Okay, this is not company territory. It is whose territory? It is British Crown territory. And company is okay authorized to rule on behalf of whom? On behalf of British Crown. So this is okay something that is okay mentioned explicitly that these are not territories of the company. These are the territories of the Crown, and companies are ruling on behalf of Crown. Okay, so these were the major provisions that we are finding under the PITS India Act that is okay. So what are the major changes? The first thing that you have to keep in mind is it separated these two functions: political function and commercial function. Political function, okay, the BOC will be responsible, commercial function, COD will be responsible. BOC will have 6 members, 4 members will be okay from Privy Council. Who will nominate these 4 members? The British Crown will nominate. Now, Governor General Council should have how many members now? 3 members. Governor General Council should have nothing but okay, 3 members instead of 4 members. And whatever the company's territories are, whatever the territories companies are controlling, that is not the territory of the company. It is a territory of who? Territory of British Crown. Clear? So these major change were introduced under PITS India. Okay. So let's say if you get a statement like this in the examination. Which is okay brought under PITS India Act. The question comes like this: that which is brought under the PITS India Act? Which statement is correct? Second is correct. Okay. Anyone else? So which act for the first time recognized the political function of the company? It is a regulating act. Okay, yes. Okay, so first is wrong statement, not part of Pitt Singh Act. Okay, so we discussed political function of the company, political function for the first time recognized under which act? Regulating act. Okay, so not under Pitt Singh Act. So first is wrong. Rather, Pitt Singh Act separated these two functions, political and commercial function. Second, the act implicitly mentioned that the company's territory as the British possession in India. Is it correct? Is wrong statement. Why? What is the term implicit means? What is the difference between implicit and explicit? Involving is implicit and explicit? Removing. No. Anyone else? What the term implicit means? What is term explicit means? Implied. You have something studied implied. What is implied means? Explicit means that is clearly mentioned. That is explicit. Okay, something which is not clearly mentioned and you are implying, you are getting some message. Okay, from that. That is called as what? That is called as implicit. Implicit means what? Something that is not clearly mentioned. But by reading that you are deriving what? You are deriving certain information. That is called as nothing but implicit. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So here the act explicitly mentioned, clearly mentioned that these territories are what? These territories are the British territories, not the company's territory. It is clearly mentioned, explicitly mentioned that is okay. So this is something that is again a wrong statement that you have to keep in mind. So act explicitly mentions that these are these are British possession in case of India. Clear? The Governor General of Bengal controls the Governor of Bombay and Madras and they will be subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. Again, this is a provision of Regulating Act of 1773. So answer will be what? Answer will be none of the above is correct. Okay, answer will be none of the above is correct. Why none of the above is correct? Because these two are what? These two are Regulating Act of 1773 while this is explicitly mentioned. So if question comes right, which of the following is under the Pitt Singh Act, you have to keep in mind what is under the Pitt Singh Act. Here, any doubt regarding this particular thing? For example, let's say if I give you a statement that the Earth rotates around the Sun. Around Sun. Okay, this is something that is there. Now, if this is what this is clearly explaining what. This is clearly explaining that Earth is moving around the Sun, that is there. What is implicitly you are deriving from here? What is implicitly you are deriving? There must be some force which is responsible for what? There must be some force which is responsible for nothing but Earth revolving around the Sun, that is there. Which is the force? Gravitational force. You have studied gravitational force. That when two objects are there, what will happen? This force act, gravitational force act. So why something is moving in a circular thing? Or something is moving around the Sun? Because there must be some force responsible for that thing moving around the Sun. So what is the implicit thing you are deriving? Implicit thing is must be some force responsible for nothing but this one. But explicitly what is communicated that what? That nothing but the Earth is revolving around nothing but Sun, that is there. So clear that what is explicitly means, what is implicitly means. Implicitly means something that you are reading and deriving a conclusion or implied things from that. Explicitly means something which is clearly mentioned. Fine? Any doubt regarding this thing? So these type of questions get in the case of examination. Okay. Next act that you are finding, the third act that you are finding is Charter Act of 1793. So next act that you are seeing is the Charter Act of 1793. So what is the Charter Act of 1793? So as we discussed, companies was created through what? Companies created it through charter, and this charter used to be valid for 20 years. So we have discussed who issued the charter. Last class we discussed king or queen. They used to issue what? They used to issue nothing but charter. We discussed currently companies are registered under the Companies Act. Earlier the companies used to be created through the charter, and this charter used to be valid for how many years? 20 years. So every 20 years you have to renew the charter. Every 20 years you have to renew the charter. So Regulating Act of 1773 was passed. After that 20 years Okay, next charter, okay, renewal time is there. So that's why, okay, Charter Act of 1793 there, something that were introduced. Clear? Now, what Charter Act of 1793 did? The first important thing that you're finding is it is clarifying and okay extending the Governor General of Bengal veto power over Governor General Council's decision. Veto power over Governor General Council's decision. So we discussed earlier, Governor General Councils have how many okay members? 3 members. Now suppose these 3 members are giving any nothing but a decision or suggesting any decision to Governor General of Bengal. Can Governor General of Bengal says, okay, just veto this decision that I will not follow this particular okay decision, or I will not second to this particular decision? Can he do that? Okay. So earlier this was not clarified, but in 1786, Cornwallis became Lord Cornwallis became nothing but okay Governor General of Bengal. Okay, he became the Governor General of Bengal, and he when he came on the condition that he should have veto power over the council. Then only he will become a Governor General of Bengal. Otherwise, he will not become a Governor General of Bengal. Okay, so he was there as a Governor General of Bengal from 1786 to 1793. Okay, so when in 1793 when charter was being removed, when charter was being renewed. So what is happening is the charter clarified that all future Governor General of Bengal will have nothing but veto power over their council. All future Governor General of Bengal will have veto power over their council. That is clear. Means whatever the decision the Governor General in council is taking, or whatever advice they are sending, this advice can be vetoed. Vetoed means what? Can be taken, or can be nothing but not followed. That veto power is something that is there. So that is one of the things that you are finding on the Charter Act of 1793. Even this was also extended to what? Governor of Bombay and Madras. This power was also extended to Governor of Bombay and Madras, that they can also veto the decision of their council. So not only this power lies with the Governor General of Bengal, this is also extending to whom? This is also extending to Governor of Bombay, Madras, that they can also veto the decision of whom? Decision of the council. So we just now discussed that here what you are finding is Governor of Bombay, to assist Governor of Bombay, you also have the Governor Council, and here also to Governor of Madras, to assist him also there is a Governor Council. So whatever the decision they are giving, that can also be overruled, that can also be nothing but vetoed. So this is another major provision. Which was brought under the Charter Act of 1793. So first thing, it is clarifying that Governor General of Bengal will have veto power over Governor General Council decision. The second thing, it is saying that Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras have a veto power also over their councils. Fine. The third major thing under this act, that this act separated judicial function and revenue collection function. Generally, who collect the revenue? Who collect your income tax and etc. Income tax official. So they are part of who? They are part of nothing but executive. Last class, remember, 3 things we have discussed. Judiciary. We discussed legislature, we discussed executive, and we discussed judiciary. What is the job of legislature? To make law. What is the job of executive? To implement law. And what is the job of judiciary? To uphold the law. So we discussed now, revenue function is who is performing the revenue function? Executive are trying to perform the revenue collection function. So this is trying to separate which two function? Judicial function as well as executive function. This is trying to separate judicial and executive function. Fine. So if you read Article 50 of our Constitution, you will find this. So what is Article 50 saying? It directs the state to take a step to separate, okay, judiciary from what? Executive. So okay, from where the origin of this principle, judiciary separation and executive separation is there? It is from nothing but okay, Charter Act of nothing but okay, 1793. So before okay, Charter Act of 1793 came, okay, you had the office of whom? You had the office of DM. DM means what? District Magistrate. So district magistrate also have which power? Magisterial power. He also used to have magisterial power, which is judicial power, and he also used to be responsible for nothing but okay, revenue collection. In fact, DM used to be head of revenue court. DM used to be head of okay, revenue court. He also used to supervise revenue court. Let's say any dispute occurs. Government is saying you have to pay this much revenue. You are saying that no, you have to pay this much revenue. Now dispute is arising. Government is demanding 10 lakh. You are saying that no, my tax liability is only 5 lakh. Dispute is arising. So where you are going to go? Revenue court you are going to go. So revenue court is also headed by him. This used to be headed by nothing but okay, district magistrate. But now in this act there is a separation being done, judicial function and revenue collection function. So this is now changes into what? This now changes into nothing but okay, DC. Now we call him as what? District collector. Collector means what? Responsible for which function? Revenue collection function, not responsible for judicial function. That is okay there. So separation of what? Separation of which two functions were there? Judicial function as well as nothing but okay, executive function. So this separation was done under okay, which under nothing but okay, Charter Act of 1793. Fine. And important provision that you find is Charter Act of 1793 also says that charter of the company is extended for another how many years? 20 years. It is extended for another 20 years. Okay, so this is okay, valid for another 20 years. This is okay, another major provision that we are finding. Charter is extended for how many years? Charter is extended for another 20 years. Fine. Another important part that you see is okay, what? It is also saying that okay, what? It is also saying that officials are going to get salaries from where? Official means what? BOC members and etc. They are going to get salaries from where? Salaries from Indian taxpayers or British taxpayers? Okay, they used to get money. Okay, they used to get any salaries and etc. from Indian taxpayer or Indian exchequer. We write it as Indian exchequer. Whatever Indians are okay paying a tax from this, okay, who will get a salaries and etc. BOC members. Okay, but we discuss BOC members are sitting where? They are part of nothing but okay, Privy Council. We discuss Privy Council is created where? In the Britain. Okay, so what you see is okay, though they are sitting in the Britain, they are okay, what? They will get salaries from where? From the Indian taxpayers, not from nothing but British taxpayers. That is also clarified under which act? That is also clarified under Charter Act of 1793. So that's why it is leading what? It is leading to the drain of wealth. Okay, whatever wealth okay that is coming in India is now being given to nothing but okay, Britishers through this process. So this is okay leading to what? Leading to nothing but okay, drain of wealth. Fine. Any doubt regarding this particular? So any doubt regarding Charter Act of 1793? We discuss what Charter Act of 1793 is doing. The first thing, it clarifies that veto power of okay, veto power is there with the Governor General of Bengal, and veto power is also there with Bombay and Madras to overrule their council's decision. Second thing, it separated which two function? Judicial function as well as nothing but okay, revenue collection function. Third thing, charter was extended for how many years? 20 years. And okay, the members of the BOC will draw their salaries and other things from Indian exchequer, not from okay, British exchequer. So these are okay, these are nothing but okay, major provision we are finding under the Charter Act of 1793. So these were the first three acts okay, that we are finding. One is called as what? One is called as a regulating act. Second is called as what? Fix India Act. And the third is called as a Charter Act of 1793. So first you write down, heading you write down Act under the Companies Rule. Act under the Companies Rule. Act under the Companies Rule. And first we write down Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773. This is the first act. This is the first act through which. This is the first act through which. British Crown. This is the first act through which British Crown regulated the functions of the company. British Crown regulated the functions of the company. Regulated the functions of the company. It for the first time recognized the political functions of the company. It for the first time recognized the political functions of the company. Political functions of the company. The main provision of Regulating Act 1773 are. The main provision of Regulating Act 1773 are: number 1, the Governor of Bengal will be designated as Governor General of Bengal. And he will be assisted by a 4-member council. Called as Governor General Council. He is assisted by a 4-member council called as Governor General Council. They were required to function. According to the majority rule. According to the majority rule. Second you read. It laid the foundation of centralized administration in India. As Governor General of Bombay and Madras, will now be subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. Governor of Bombay and Madras will now be subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. Next point. It also established a Supreme Court at Fort William in Calcutta. Supreme Court at Fort William in Calcutta in 1774. Comprising of a Chief Justice and 3 other judges. Consists of 3 Chief Justice and 3 other judges. Okay. That 4 is okay for this one. We have discussed Governor General Councils will have how many members? 4 members, not the court, not the Supreme Court. Okay. Governor General Council should have how many members? 4 members. Okay. Chief Justice and 3 other judges. Okay. Next point. It barred the company's official. It barred, B-A-R-R-E-D, barred the company's official from engaging in private trade. From engaging in private trade or accepting any bribes from engaging in any private trade or accepting bribes in order to control corruption. In order to control corruption. Next point. The act strengthened the British government control. The act strengthened the British government control over the company by requiring the Court of Director to report on civil, revenue and military affairs. So this is important thing that you are finding in regard to Regulating Act of 1770. Second, you read Pitt's India Act 1784. Pitt's India Act 1784. This act was brought to rectify the problems. Problems of Regulating Act of 1773. To rectify the problems of the Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773. It is named after William Pitt. Who was the Prime Minister of Britain. It is named after William Pitt, who was the Prime Minister of Britain at that point. The main provision of this act are. Point number one. The act clearly expresses the company's territory as the British possession. In India. Hence, company territory are the territory of British Crown. Point number 2 here. It separated British Crown. Point number 2. It separated the Board of Control and Court of Directors. It separated the Board of Control sorry, don't write mode of control. You write it separated the political and commercial function. It separated the political and commercial functions. Political and commercial functions by creating board of control. By creating board of control, which is responsible for political function. By creating board of control, which is responsible for political function, and code of director, which is responsible for commercial function. Next one, number 3. The board of control shall consist of 6 members. The board of control shall consist of 6 members involving Secretary of State, comma, Chancellor of Exchequer, and 4 members from privy councils. Chancellor of Exchequer and 4 members of privy council. 4 members of privy council. 4 members of privy council. Okay. So total of 6 members. Who is the 6th member? One is Secretary of State. Another is one Chancellor of Exchequer, and 4 members coming from privy councils. So total of 6 members. Okay. Next, the board of control. The board of control have the power to oversee all civil, military and revenue matter, of the East India Company. Hence, it created dual government. Systems. Next point, okay, the Governor General Council strength was reduced from Governor General Council strength was reduced from 4 members to 3 members. 3 members, including the Commander-in-Chief in the Council. Next we read Charter Act of 1793. Charter Act of 1793. The act was brought in order to renew and regulate the East India Company Rule. In India. The main feature of this act are: point number 1, The main feature of this act are number one. The charter was extended for another 20 years. The charter was extended for another 20 years. Was another 20 years, and the act made it clear. An act made it clear that East India Company political rule. Act made it clear that East India Company political rule. That East India Company political rule was on behalf of British Crown. Was on behalf of British Crown. British Crown. Second item. The Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal have the veto power. To override the decision of his council. To override the decision of the council. And he also exercised control over. Governor of Bombay and Madras. Governor of Bombay and Madras. He also exercised control over Governor of Bombay and Madras. Next one. This power to override the decisions. This power to override the decisions were also extended. To provincial governor. This power to override the decisions were also extended to provincial governor. In bracket you write. Governor of Bombay and Madras. To provincial governor. Provincial, provincial governor. In bracket, Governor of Bombay and Madras. Bracket close. Over their respective council. Next one to be done. The salaries and pension of Board of Control members. The salaries and pension of the Board of Control members. Shall be paid from Indian revenue. And not from British revenue. Also, the companies were required to pay 5 lakh pound annually to 5 lakh pound annually to British government. 5 lakh pound from Indian revenue to British government every year from Indian revenue. Hence, this started the drain of wealth. From India. Next we have the Act separated judicial function judicial function and revenue administration. Judicial function and revenue administration, in bracket you have executive function. Revenue administration, in bracket executive function. Bracket. This means the district collector. This means the district collector or revenue officer. This means district collector or revenue officer can no longer act as a judge. British. Okay. This means that district collector and revenue official can no longer act as a judge. In the court, in bracket you ready, mal adalat or revenue court. In bracket you ready, mal adalat or revenue court. Mal adalat or fine. Mal adalat or revenue court. And so these are the major provision of Charter Act of 1780. So next charter that is coming is what? 1830. Now, just Charter Act of 1813. If you see. Now, if you see the European map, okay, this is where you will find what? This is where you will find Britain. This is where you will find Britain. This is where you will find France. Okay. Now, in this particular period, especially between between 1789 to 1850. So between 1789 to 1850, you will find this is a period of French Revolution. This is the period of French Revolution. So in world history, you will study about this is a period of French Revolution, and within French Revolution, you will see Napoleon is occupying power in the France. Okay, so who is occupying power in the France? Napoleon is occupying the power, and Napoleon aim was when Napoleon occupied the power. So French Revolution idea was what? French Revolution idea was like what we are coming, liberty, equality, and fraternity. This idea came from where? This idea came from French Revolution. So what is the outcome of French Revolution? Demand of French Revolution is a liberty, equality, and fraternity. This is a demand you are getting from the French Revolution. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So French Revolution wanted to create which type of system? It wanted to remove king system. So in France also which system was present? King system was present. It wanted to remove king system and wanted to bring which kind of system? Republican system. Okay, so French Revolution wanted to remove king system and want to brought which type of system? Republican system. Last class we discussed what was Republican system? That a head of the state should be what? Head of the state should be elected. Okay, we discussed in the case of Britain what is happening. Head of the state is what? British crown or British king and queen, which is not elected one. But in India, head of the state is what? Head of the state is elected. President is the head of the state. So what you see is head of the state should be nothing but elected one. This is a concept of nothing but republic. Okay. So there what you see is king should be replaced, and what will happen? Which system should come? Republican system should come. When this revolution started, you see at that time Germany was not there. Rather a group was there called as a Prussia. Okay, Germany was not there. Okay, a part of Germany was called as a Prussia at that point of time. Here you will see Austria was a bigger country. It was a power. So all these started attacking the France. Why they started attacking the France? They started attacking the France so that okay, this revolution do not succeed in the France. Why? Because if revolution succeed over here, what will happen? Here also people will demand what? The king system should go away. System should go away. King system should go away. And okay, who should come into power? Elected government should come into power. So king of all these regions started attacking this region so that okay, what? So that okay, revolution do not succeed. Right? Revolution do not succeed in the case of France. Okay. So this was the French Revolution. Okay, so when Napoleon came into power, okay, in the French Revolution in around 1799 onwards, you will see Napoleon rule is coming in case of France. So Napoleon is attacking and winning all these, okay, all these regions, and he is bringing a system called as a continental system in Europe, that no continent should trade with whom? No continent should trade with the British. Is bringing which type of system? Continental system in case of Europe, that none of the continental countries should trade with whom? Should trade with British. That was a system Napoleon brought. Okay, and okay, what you see is okay, the British were paranoid that they thought that okay, Napoleon might come towards what? Napoleon might come towards India also. That is okay, because Napoleon has already attacked Egypt. He has already attacked the Egypt. And okay, from here, okay, you see nothing but okay, Indian route is open to nothing but okay, Napoleon. Okay, that's why you will read history. You will also find that 1799. Okay, we had a fourth Anglo-Mysore war. With Tipu Sultan, in which Tipu Sultan died. Okay, so in 1799, you will see nothing but okay, the fourth Anglo-Mysore war is happening because British thought that okay, the people will have a much closer ties with the France, and people will nothing but invite France. As a result, this war is something that is happening. That is okay. So you see which system was there? Continental system was there in the case of Europe. Now continental system means none of the continent will trade with whom? They will not trade with nothing but British. When they will not trade with the British, what will happen? Whether the British company will make profit or they will make loss. They will make a loss, okay, because they are not able to sell their product. That is okay. So what you see is okay, this act, the Charter Act of 1813, is brought in certain background. It is brought in certain background. What is the background? One background is okay, industrial revolution. One background is which revolution? Industrial revolution. So first industrial revolution is happening in between 1760s to 1820s. Okay, this is the period of first industrial revolution in the case of Britain. Okay, so this is the period of first industrial revolution in the case of Britain, 1760s to 1820s. What is industrial revolution? Earlier you used to make goods with the hand. Now you shifted towards what? Machinery. Okay, now you are starting using machines to nothing but make good. So earlier, let's say you used to make 20 books in a day, now you are making what? 100 books in a day. Why? Because machineries, with the machines what will happen? You can make large number of books. Machines can work for longer hours. After 1 hour of work or 2 hour of work, you will feel tired. Machine do not feel tired, can operate for a longer period of time. So suddenly you see production increase. Now when you are producing more, you need more market to work. You need more market to sell your work, sell your product. Okay, because when your production is increasing, you need more market to sell your product, more customers to sell your product. Okay, that is okay. Clear? Already Europe, okay, what? Europe is coming under which system? Already Europe is coming under which system? Continental system. Europe is not trading with which company? Because okay, industrial revolution is happening in Britain. In Britain, production is increasing, but okay, British people or British companies are not able to trade their goods in the European market. Why they are not able to trade their goods in the European market? Because of this type of system, continental system, that was present in the Europe. So British companies were losing the market. They were not able to sell their. That's why they pressurized British Parliament. To abolish the monopoly of East India Company to trade with India. Okay, so earlier who can trade with India? Earlier only East India Company can trade with India. So let's say any company in the British is there, they are going to sell their product to EIC. EIC will come and sell this product in India. EIC will take product from India and sell it to nothing but British. So the East India Company, why it is called as the East India Company? Because whatever lies on the eastern side of Whatever lies on the eastern side of nothing but okay, Britain. So what lies? India lies, China lies, okay. So companies have a monopoly to trade with whom? Trade with India, China, that is okay there. But now other companies of whom? Other companies of nothing but okay, Britain are demanding that this monopoly should be abolished. Why this monopoly should be abolished? So that these companies can come and directly trade with whom? Directly trade with India. Let's say this company is making any product at 50 rupees. EIC is buying at which rupee? Let's say 60 rupees. Okay, this is cost of making is 50. They want 10 rupees of profit. They are selling at which price? 60 rupees. EIC is coming and selling this product in 90 rupees. Okay, that is okay. So if this company directly sells, okay, what will happen? They can sell at 60, 65, 70 also. So what will happen is okay, they can get more profit, and consumer here also can get okay good at what? Lesser price. Okay, that is okay. Okay? So that's why other companies wanted EIC monopoly to be abolished, and they were pressurizing the British Parliament that when you are passing the act, please abolish monopoly of East India Company, that is okay. So that's why okay, this Charter Act of 1813 is passed in a certain background. Okay, this is passed in certain background. So you have to keep that in mind. So the first thing this Charter Act of 1813 was did, that it abolished the monopoly of monopoly of companies to trade with India, except for one kind of trade, tea trade, except for tea trade, and with trade with China continue. Okay, monopoly over trade with China continue. This continue. Okay, so only monopoly was abolished where? It was abolished in India. Okay, companies can now come and directly sell okay with India. With China, monopoly will continue. Okay, with China, monopoly will continue. So it abolished the monopoly of company to trade with nothing but India, except for this trade, tea type of tea trade, and trade with China, monopoly continue over here. So this is okay. First important point of Charter Act of 1813. Fine. Second major thing that you see is okay. This act allows the Christian missionaries to come towards India. So this allows the Christian missionaries to come to India. That is, missionary can come and is do their missionary activity and religious activity, that is okay. So earlier, when British came to India, British did not interfere in this type of matters. They did not interfere in social and religious matter. British kept themselves more in this type of economic matter only or political matter only. They did not interfere much in this type of matter, social matter or religious matter. Okay. This is the reason why British initially succeeded. Okay, British initially succeeded. If you have read the history, you know that the first who came to India, Portuguese came to India. Vasco da Gama founded what? Sea route nothing but India. So Portuguese came, then you see nothing but Dutch came, then the British came in case of India. Okay, so British were third to arrive in India. But British defeated all the competition. They defeated the French, Dutch, Portuguese. Okay, why they defeated all? Okay, what was the advantage? One advantage was British were not interfering in this matter, social matter. In fact, Portuguese were the one who started interfering in the social matter. People did not like. Okay, so really, people did not like. They did not support it, and as a result, you see nothing but initially the British were not interfering much in social matter. But by 1813, you see British have been able to consolidate their powers in India. Okay, so we discussed initially their rule was where? The rule started in Bengal, but by the time of 1813 coming, you see nothing but British occupied over this region also. Here you a small part now ruled by Wadiyar dynasty. Okay, Travancore was a small part. Okay, that is okay there. Nizam of Hyderabad were there. Okay, you will see nothing but what you will see Marathas were there. Marathas soon lost powers also in 1818. That is okay there. Okay, you will see nothing but okay, British expanded towards something but okay, northern part of India, central part of India. All the Rajputana states signed nothing but okay, subsidiary alliance. Okay, many of the princely states signed subsidiary alliance. By this time, British expanded their powers in case of India. So when they expanded their political power, then they started interfering in which matter, social matter or religious matter, that is okay there. Clear? So this is okay, important thing that okay, in this particular act, that the act allows Christian missionaries to come towards India, that is okay there. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So in history you will read about okay what? In history you will also read about social religious reform movement in India. Raja Ram Mohan Roy okay, founded Brahma Samaj and other Samaj. All these activities are happening post Christian missionaries arrival in the case of India. Okay. So this is okay, another important provision that you are finding in the case of Charter Act of 1830. The third important thing that you see is okay, the Act assigned 1 lakh rupees per year for education. This assigned 1 lakh rupees for nothing but okay, education. So why the okay money is being assigned for the education? Western education influence. Any reason why Western education influence they wanted to bring in case of India? To grow the nationalism. Okay, nationalism growth is byproduct of okay, English education. It is not the reason why British influence. As we discussed, now by 1813 we discussed British rule is what? British rule is expanding in case of India. When rule is expanding, you need what? You need more manpower to rule. Okay, you need more officers to rule. Okay, and for this, okay, you need okay what? Officers who are trained in which language? English language, because British wanted okay, British do not know the local language. They wanted some official to act as a bridge between local population and okay one who is trained in local language also and English language also. So that is the reason why they assign nothing but okay, education. Why they try to bring okay, education, okay, Western education in case of India, because they wanted to create a class of Indians who is okay what, who is trained in case of nothing but okay, administration. So this is okay reason why okay, British started interfering in case of education. That's why in history you will study about again Anglicist controversy versus Orientalist controversy. Anglicists wanted English education, Orientalists wanted native education or mother tongue education. Education should be in mother tongue. So that controversy was there. Okay. So why the controversy is something that is okay happening, as British wanted more officials okay, who are trained in what? Who are trained in okay, the languages, English language, Western education language, who can okay what? Who can okay serve the interest of British. So that's why they wanted to bring nothing but okay, the education system. So this is okay one where you see nothing but okay, British are nothing but okay for the first time okay, allocating money for education. So you see British are now interfering in which matter? Social matter, education matter, religious matter. So this is okay, important thing that you are finding. Clear? So what Charter Act of 1813 is doing? We discussed it abolished the monopolies of who? Monopolies of companies trade in India, but okay, companies can continue their monopoly in trade with whom? Trade with nothing but okay, China. Christian missionaries okay, were arrived. You'll see nothing but okay, funds for nothing but okay, educations were allocated. So this is okay, another important thing that you are finding. And why this abolition is happening? Why this abolition is happening? Because okay, the companies in the Britain wanted more okay, more nothing but okay, trade with India, direct trade with India, not through EIC, and that's why they pressurized okay, the British Parliament to pass such particular act. Clear? In doubt regarding this particular thing. So write down regarding Charter Act of 1830. Charter Act of 1830. This act was brought in the background of the Industrial Revolution, the continental system in Europe, introduced by Napoleon, which affected the companies in case of, which affected the companies in case of, companies in case of the Britain, companies in case of Britain, companies in case of Britain. The Charter Act of 1813, the Charter Act of 1813, main provisions are, the Charter Act of 1813, main provisions are, point number 1, the Act abolished the monopoly, Act abolished the monopoly of the company, with monopoly of company trade with India, monopoly of company trade with India, monopoly of companies trade with India, in bracket you write down, except tea trade, except for tea trade, bracket close. However, monopoly with China continued. However, monopoly with China continued. Monopoly with China continued. Monopoly with China continued. Point 2 we write. The Act extended the company's rule for another 20 years. Company's rule for another 20 years. Extended the company's rule for another 20 years. What do you write now? The Act authorized Christian missionaries. The Act authorized Christian missionaries. Act authorized Christian missionaries to enter British India. And spread. To enter British India and spread religious belief and education. And spread religious belief and education. Religious belief, B-E-L-I-E-F, religious belief and education. Point number 4 you write. The Act authorized British government. The Act authorized British government to spend 1 lakh rupees. For the spread of education every year in India. Spread of education every year in India. Next one, that Act also mandated. The Act also mandated a separate account to be maintained for commercial transaction. Act also mandated separate account to be maintained for commercial transaction and territorial revenues. For commercial transaction and territorial, T-E-R-I-T-O-I-R-I-A-N, territorial revenues. For commercial transaction and territorial revenues. Means whatever money that you are collecting from the tax should be maintained separately, and whatever the money that you are collecting from trading, that should be maintained separately. Separate accounts shall be maintained. Last one, the Act asserted the sovereignty. Act asserted the sovereignty. NTY, sovereignty of British Crown over the Indian territories, held by the company, over the Indian territories held by the company, over the Indian territories held by the company. Can you answer 4? Anyone else? First two. Yes, answer will be first two. So as we discussed, what Charter Act did, it ended the trade monopoly of East India Company in India, except trade in tea and trade with China. This is very much correct statement. We discussed just now last one what we have written, that company's territory are whose territory, British Crown territories, that is also mentioned. Revenues of India were now controlled by the British Parliament. Now this is wrong. We discussed only it was then that you have to maintain a separate account. Separate account for who? Separate account for the commercial transaction and separate account for nothing but revenue administration. But this will not be looked after by the British Parliament. British Parliament will look after British exchequer, not Indian exchequer. That is there. So Indian taxpayers account that shall be controlled by the Indians only, not nothing but what the British one. So third is wrong statement. So answer here will be nothing but answer here will be nothing but 1 and 2. Answer here is nothing but 1 and 2 only. So like this questions have been asked in case of nothing but in case of examination there is here any doubt regarding this particular thing. So these are these are the important act that you have to keep in mind. Questions as we discussed can come in the examination. What are the main provision of Charter Act? What are the main provision of Regulating Act, Civil Act? So that you have to keep in mind. The next act that we have is the Charter Act of 1833. So the next act that you have is the Charter Act of 1833. So again, this act is coming, and as we discussed, by this time British has occupied entire India. Either directly they are controlling or indirectly they are controlling. Okay, except for this region of Punjab, where you see Sikh were ruling. Otherwise, okay, most of the regions were nothing but okay occupied by the British by this point of time. Okay, so that's why now the first major provision that you are finding here is okay, Governor General of Bengal now should be called as what? Governor General of India. So designation now has been changed, and Governor General of Bengal is now called as what? Governor General of India. Because earlier we discussed, okay, they got power in the Bengal, so that's why Governor General of Bengal we have created. But now their rule extended throughout the India, so now the Governor General of Bengal will be called as what? Governor General of India. That is okay, another important okay provision. Second important provision that you see is okay. We discussed Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras, and other provincial governor like Governor of Agra was also there. Any other provincial governor were there. They also had okay. We discussed what council? Governor Council. They also had a Governor Council. But now this council can't make a law. This council can't make a law. Okay? Who can make a law now? The law making power now they are with only Governor General of India. Okay? Only one authority now can make law for India, which is going to be called, which is going to be made by who? Governor General of India. Like you have okay, what you have okay. The at the center you have Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. At the state you have okay, what Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. So you see two law-making bodies, one at the center, one at the state in India right now. Okay, but here the law-making power that were there with okay Governor Council, this law-making power were taken away. Now they can't make a law. Only who can make a law? Governor General of India can only make a law throughout the India that is okay. That's why this act is called as what? This act is called as a this is called as the peak of centralization. Okay, at the okay what? Centralization is reaching at the peak. Okay, at this point of time, we started foundation of centralization from where? Foundation of centralization from 1773 onward. By the okay what? By the okay 1833, you see nothing but okay what? It is reaching its peak. That is okay there, because now the okay earlier Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras can't take a decision without approval of Governor General of Bengal. Now they can't make a law also. Okay, they have okay they can't make a law also. Who can make a law? Only Governor General of India can make a law. That is okay. Clear? And whatever law earlier in India used to be made, whatever law earlier in India used to be made, they used to be called as a regulation, but now it is going to be called as what? It is going to be called as a act. So whatever the Governor General of India is going to make a law, this law used to be called as what? This law is going to be called as an act. Okay, this law is going to be called as an act. Earlier, the law in India used to be okay called as a regulation. This used to be called as a regulation. What is the difference between an act and a regulation? What is the difference that lies between an act and a regulation? You are saying earlier it okay, the laws okay which used to be made were called as okay regulation. Now the laws that is going to be made is act. What difference lies between a regulation and an act? Okay, for example, okay, if you remember we discussed okay RBI okay regulates who? RBI regulates who? The banks. So RBI has which type of power? Regulation power. Okay, RBI regulates the bank. RBI issues a set of rules. Regulation is nothing but okay, regulation is set of rules. Okay, RBI issues these rules, and okay, bank has to follow this particular rules. So RBI is okay which type of body? A regulatory body. It regulates the bank. But from where the RBI derives the power? From where the RBI derives the power? It derives the power from RBI Act 1934. Okay, so RBI is created, RBI function, RBI composition, RBI powers. Okay, they are listed under which act? They are listed under okay, RBI Act 1934. So act is a broader one. Okay, within the act comes okay, within the act comes the regulation. Within the regulation comes your rules. Okay, within regulation comes your rules. Like we talk about traffic regulation. How traffic regulations are being done? You are making a rules, okay, that whenever red light is there, what will happen? Stop. Whenever green light is there, you go. So you are making rules. Regulations are nothing but okay, a series or set of rules that you are issuing that is okay. So now earlier, so you see, law making power is now increasing. Act is a broader term. Okay, law making power is now increasing. That is okay there. So this is okay. Another important change. Okay, that you are finding. Earlier the law that used to be made in India, there used to be called as a regulation. Now these okay going to be called as what? These are going to be called as a act. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So we discuss who is making law now for India. Who is making law now for India? Governor General of India. He can only make a law. Okay. So only the Governor General of India can make a law. Okay. That you have to keep in mind. So now the Governor General of India. Now the Governor General of India. So now what you have to keep in mind is that the Governor General of India requires an assistance for making a law. Okay. So Governor General of India requires an assistant in making law. You have to make law throughout for India. He requires now an assistant. And to assist him, how we discussed which council was there? Governor General Council, and we discussed how many members were there in Governor General Council. It's India Act says 3 members are there in the Governor General Council. So to assist the Governor General of India, there was Governor General of Council, and the council used to have how many members? 3 members. That is okay there. But okay, now the council will have what? Now the council will have 1 extra member, and this extra member will act as which member? Law member. Okay, he will assist Governor General of India in making law, in making the laws. Okay, he will assist Governor General of India in making the laws. So now extra member is going to be added. That is okay. Clear? But remember, we discussed regulating act has how many members? 4 members. It's India Act brought it 3 members. Again you are making it a 4 members. So what will happen? No, again 4 members. Why from 4 we have reduced it to 3? Because 4 members means tie can happen, then what will happen? Problems we are arising in taking a decision. But now again you are making 4 members, so again the problem will arise. That's why the 1 member, the law did not have a voting rights. This member did not have a voting right. So we say this is he is not a full member. He is not a full member. Why is not a full member? Because he do not have which right? Voting right. Only the 3 members will have voting, but voting right there is voting right. Clear? Any doubt regarding this one? So to assist the Governor General of India, now how many councils are there? 4 members are there in the council. 3 original members, 1 now extra member which is going to act as which member? Law member. But the law member will not have which right? He will not have a voting right. There is okay. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So another change that we have done in the Charter Act of 1833. That is okay. Clear? Next important thing that you find. Is we discussed previous act. Previous act ended the monopoly of the company with regard to India, but monopoly continued in the China. So this act abolished now monopoly also with whom? Also with the China. Now monopoly is also abolished with regard to whom? With regard to China. So company no longer have now monopoly also with regard to trade with China. So when company monopoly is abolished, we discussed company was created for which function? Commercial function. How the commercial function were performed? They were nothing but having the trading power. That is how they used to perform the commercial function. But earlier, no trading power with India, now no trading power with the China. So now the company is acting as which type of body? Now company is acting as a which type of body? Purely a political body. Why political body? Because commercial function is not there. Commercial functions are now being abolished. Commercial functions are now being abolished. That is there. So company is now becoming which type of body? Company is now becoming a political body because commercial function is not there. Monopoly is earlier abolished with India. Monopoly is earlier now abolished with the China. So company commercial function is not there. Which type of function is there? Political function is there. So company is now becoming which type of body? A political body. That is there. So this act is changing the nature or character of the company. Company from commercial body it is changing into which type of body? Political body. That change is also happening through Charter Act of 1833. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? Now another important thing that you have to keep in mind is this act also tried to introduce an open civil service competition. Okay, why try to introduce we are writing? Because this okay was not implemented. Okay, they brought this in okay what they brought this in act, but okay this clause was taken back due to protest. So what is the open civil service competition? So we discuss company needed official okay who can okay work in case of India, that is okay there. So for this official earlier this okay what this was only open to Britishers or Europeans, not to the Indians. Indians can't become a member of Indian can't become a member of nothing but okay this one. So open civil service competition means this is also open to Indians also. Indian can also write examination. Indian can also nothing but okay attend the examination. So currently you are studying for civil services, writing an examination. So what you see is okay this act tried to introduce this open civil services competition form, but could not introduce. Okay, why could not introduce? Because okay the Britishers started protesting against nothing but okay allowing of Indians into the examination, and that's why this provision was not implemented. This is what okay you are finding with regard to the open civil service competition. Clear? So these are the main okay provision that you are finding with regard to the Charter Act of 1833. So what Charter Act of 1833 is doing? It is converting Governor General of Bengal into what? Governor General of India. Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras now can't make a law. Only one who can make law is what? Governor General of India. Governor General of India, whatever law he makes will be called as what? Will be called as an act. Okay, earlier it used to be called as what? Regulation. Now, Governor General of India need an assistance in making a law. That's why you are adding one member. Okay, who is okay what? Who is a law member, assist in law making. But this law member will not have which voting right. He is not a full member. Okay, companies, okay, what companies monopoly is now abolished. Company monopoly is now abolished, and you will see nothing but okay, you will see companies now between political body rather than the commercial body that company was. It tried to introduce okay which competition, open civil service competition, but we discussed okay it was not implemented, and the charter was extended for how many years? 20 years. Okay, so charter was extended for how many years? Another 20 years. That is okay. Here, anyone? So these are the main provision of Charter Act of 1833. Yeah? So have a break and then we'll look at So the last act, okay, that you are finding coming under companies rule is Charter Act of 1853. This is the last act that is coming under the companies rule. But there are certain facts also just to keep in mind. Like we discussed, okay, Governor General of Bengal. So who became the first Governor General of Bengal? Warren Hastings. Yes, okay. So Warren Hastings, okay, when Regulating Act was passed, he became nothing but okay, first Governor General of India. Who became the first Governor General of India? It is William Bentinck. So William Bentinck became nothing but okay, first Governor General of India. Okay, who became the first law member? Okay, it was nothing but okay, Macaulay. Okay, Lord Macaulay became nothing but okay, first law member. And we discussed okay that the Supreme Court was created where in Calcutta in 1773. So the first Chief Justice of okay the Supreme Court was nothing but okay Eliza Impey. Eliza Impey was the first one. So these are some facts okay that might come in the case of examination. So just remember the names okay. That is okay also important one. Okay. Last act that you have is a Charter Act of 1853. This is the last act that is coming under the conclusion. Okay. Now the first major thing that you are finding, this act did not extend companies rule for 20 years. So earlier we discussed all other charters were extending rule for how many years? For 20 years. But this act okay did not extend it, rather it mentions indefinitely. So it extended the rule of the company for an indefinite period, Clear? So indefinite means what? Could be 2 years also, could be 5 years also, 15 years also, any time British government can end whose rule? Company's rule, and can start which rule? Crown rule. Act is extended for how many period? For an indefinite period, not fixed for 20 years. Okay, so that is okay one important change that is okay happening under the Charter Act of 1853. Previous charter extended the company's rule for 20 years, but this charter extended the rule for indefinite period. That okay, that crown can take over any time. Okay, company is not for fixed period. Company's rule for indefinite period. Fine. The second major change you find is okay the Charter Act. The Charter Act of 1853 also separated whom? It also separated the legislative functions and executive functions. It separated whom? It separated the legislative functions and executive functions. Clear? So under the 1853, you saw the separation. So we discussed Governor General of India was there, and to assist the Governor General of India, which council was there? Governor General Council. We discussed how many members were there in Governor General Council? 3 plus 1 law member. That is what we have discussed. Okay, till now. So to assist Governor General of India, Governor General Council was there. Now this council is now divided into two parts. This council is now divided into two parts. It is called as now Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Council. So now we are separating which type of function? We are separating nothing but okay, legislative function and executive function. So now the council is divided. Governor General Council is now divided into two parts. Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Council. Okay, this will perform executive function, while this will perform nothing but okay, legislative function. So this Governor General Council members, they became which members? Executive members. So executive members were nothing but okay, 4 members only. But Legislative Council members were now, how many members were added into Legislative Council? 6 members were added into the Legislative Council. Clear? So right now, like okay, you'll see right now we have okay what? We have President, and President is a part of whom? President is a part of Parliament also. President is a part of nothing but okay, government also. President is okay, heading the, like Prime Minister and Council of Ministers is going to advise nothing but okay, President. So they are performing executive function, they are performing what? Legislative function. So the same concept okay, which was there in 1853, we have borrowed right now. Okay, we have borrowed right now. So this is okay what you are finding. Clear? So if you see both the articles, Like okay, one article that you see is okay, article number 53 of Indian Constitution. What it says, executive power is vested where? Executive power is vested in the President of India. And okay, if you read article 74, if you read article 74 of Indian Constitution, what does it says? It says okay, who will okay, Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister to advise whom? To advise the President. So executive power is exercised by whom? President. But President will exercise this executive power on the advice of whom? Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. So same provision okay, we have taken right now in the case of nothing but okay, Constitution. And if you read article 79 of Indian Constitution, okay, if you read article 79, it says that Parliament of okay, India consists of whom? President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So President is a part of legislature also, President is a part of what? Executive also, that is okay there. So similarly, you find okay, Governor General of India, it has a legislative functions also, it has a executive functions also. Similar concept we have now taken into our constitution. So we are saying that okay, that's why we say that Constitution of India has evolved over a period of time by series of British Act. Okay, you see nothing but okay, it has evolved. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So it's separated which two function? Legislative function and executive function. Governor General of India okay, consists of whom? Governor General of India. It is having which council? Governor General Council, okay, Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Functions, okay, that is okay. Clear? How many members are there in executive? 4. How many members are there in the legislative? 6. And now this one law member has been given full membership. It has now given full membership. So this is okay, another change, okay, that is okay there. Full membership means what? Now voting right has been given to whom? Voting right has been given to nothing but okay, this particular okay, law member. Earlier it was not having voting right, but now it has a voting right. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? Why? Because law making function is now there with whom? Law making function is now there with whom? With the legislature. Okay, executive only had to implement it. Now executive will not advise for nothing but okay, making law. Who will make a law now? This will make a law. They will implement a law, that is okay there. So that's why law minister. Currently you have Ministry of Law now. So Ministry of Law okay, is looked after by law minister. So it act okay. Now as a full member, it also okay, have now every power, that is okay there, with all other 3 members. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So that change was also done under this particular act. The third major thing that you see is okay, the act for the first time brought local representation. It for the first time brought local representation. Local representation, the power is okay, given from where to where? Power is given from provinces to the center. We discussed from provinces, power is coming towards where? To the center. Governor General of India should have all the powers. Okay, that is what we are okay. We have okay now discussed. Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras will be under the control of Governor General of India. They will not make a law. Who will make a law? Governor General of India will make a law. So we till now we are not providing any powers to the local bodies. We are okay providing powers to nothing but okay, center, that is Governor General of India. So this act for the first time is bringing concept of what? Concept of local representation. So we discussed how many members are there in the Governor General Legislative Council? 6 members. Out of this 6 members, 4 members will be nominated by the provinces. 4 members will be nominated by who? Provinces. Okay, and which 4 provinces will nominate it? One is Bengal will nominate 1 members, Madras will nominate 1 members, Bombay will nominate 1 members, and Agra will nominate 1 members. Okay, so they will okay nominate 1 members into what? Into nothing but okay, this council, legislative council, that is okay there. Clear? 1, 2 okay, members will be nominated by whom? 2 members will be nominated by Governor General of India. So the act brought nothing but okay, concept of local representation. So for the first time, okay, you see nothing but okay, what these local what these local nothing but okay, provinces can nominate 1 members into central legislative councils. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So this is okay, another major change you are finding. Clear? Next important thing that you see is it introduced open civil service competition. This introduced open civil services competition. This was something that was introduced. Open civil services competition was introduced. What is open civil services competition? What is the open civil services competition? Like we discussed, Indians should be allowed in what? Indians should be allowed for writing, okay, the civil services competition. Earlier we discussed this. This was being brought under what? This was being brought under 1833, but was taken back due to what? Due to nothing but okay, protest. But why? Okay, again it is being introduced. Why again it is being introduced? Why again it is being introduced? Don't you think again protests will happen? So why this provision is again being brought?
Indians were not given rank higher than Suburban.
So
like they cannot climb up the ranks.
Fine. Any other reason? Any other reason? Any other reason why do you think okay the open civil services competition were okay introduced? Why Indians are now allowed to write the examinations? Okay, Britishers are still okay going to protest. Okay, but why okay this is again being introduced? Because by this time okay you see the companies is realizing or British government, British Crown is realizing the revolt that is okay happening against whom? Revolt that is happening against something but okay British companies okay. So you know that okay 1857 revolt, and this revolt is also referred as what? India's first war of independence. Okay, so 1857 revolt was a much bigger scale of revolt, but before 1857 also a lot of small scale revolt has happened against whom? Lot of small scale revolt against happens against the companies rule, because companies were much interested in which one? They were much interested in profit. They were much interested in revenue collection, tax collection, profit collection. They were not worried about citizens. Okay, they were not worried about Indian people. Okay, so there was a sense of anger against whom? There was sense of anger against nothing but okay British rule, British okay company, and already there were a lot of political organizations started to form in India, which were demanding more Indians into what? Which were demanding more Indians into nothing but okay civil services, more Indians into nothing but okay the administration, okay, and okay minimize the racial discrimination. British has a racial discrimination policy, no? British are superior, Indians are okay not superior, so Indians should not occupy higher position, British only should occupy the higher position. So this racial discrimination policy was there, okay. The sense of anger was there against okay British rule, okay, and company or crown says that okay there is some sense of anger, so we need to bring more Indians into the administration to minimize what? To minimize nothing but okay any kind of future revolt and etc. that is okay there. So that's why open civil services competition were introduced for the first time. Indians were allowed to write the examination. So again okay a committee was created, okay, again a committee was created and Macaulay, this is called as a Macaulay Committee on Civil Services. This particular committee, okay, set the examination pattern, how the recruitment will happen, how the examination pattern will be there. All these were set up by which committee? Macaulay Committee. So on the basis of that, first examination in which Indian appears was in 1854. Okay, so Indians were appearing from the 1854 onwards in the civil services. But okay, what you have to keep in mind is okay, the examinations where it used to be conducted. Okay, the examination where it used to be conducted in Britain, okay, not in India. Okay, the examination used to be conducted where? In the Britain. It used to be conducted in London and etc. Okay, so how many Indians can go and write the examination over there? So okay, what you see is okay, though Indians were allowed, but participation of Indians were very less. Okay, participation of Indians were very less. In fact, for the first time, you see the first Indian that selected in case of civil services was in 1863. Okay, so Satyendranath Tagore, okay, became nothing but okay the first Indian who got selected. Okay, so though okay you can write the examination, but okay the first Indian that got selected was in 1863. So not many Indians were being selected, because in case of India, examination used to be not conducted in India. It used to be conducted where? In the okay Britain, that is okay there. Clear? In fact, okay, if you are going through the news. you can see, okay, the UPSC is okay beginning the centenary celebration. Centenary celebration means what? 100 years is okay completing. Okay, so you see centenary celebration will begin on 1st October 2025 and okay continuing till when? 1st October 2026. Because for the first time UPSC was created when? UPSC, you know, that is now conducting examination for civil services. Okay, that is okay there. So what you find is okay, what you find is okay, UPSC is the examination conducting body. Okay, till the time this body is not being constituted, you don't see examination in India. Okay, so when this body is being constituted, okay, it is being constituted in case of nothing but okay 1925. So that's why 100 years has passed and now we are in centenary celebration, that is okay. Okay, so after this only 1925, 1926 onwards you see nothing but okay Indians are writing examination in India. Till okay before that Indians have to go and write examination where? Okay, so not everyone can go, not everyone have the money to go okay to London, okay, write examination. Only elite people who has okay access, they used to go and write, okay, that is okay. So very little participation of Indians. Okay, though Indians were allowed, but very little participation of Indians were there in the case of administration. Fine, any doubt regarding this one? So this were okay, this were nothing but okay major thing that you are finding with regard to Charter Act of 1853. Fine, any doubt regarding this thing? So write down first regarding Charter Act of 1833. Charter Act of 1833. This act was brought. This act was brought in the background of. This act was brought in the background of British expansion. British expansion in India, and in light of growing industrial revolution in the British, and in light of growing industrial revolution in the British, industrial revolution in the British. The main provisions of this act are. The main provisions of this act are. Point number one. Point number one. The company's monopoly. The company's monopoly to trade with China were also abolished. To trade with China were also abolished. And company's rule was extended. And the company's rule was extended for another 20 years. Company's rule was extended for another 20 years. And company's rule was extended for another 20 years. For number 2 be read. The companies became a purely political body. Purely political body, and its character of companies became purely political body, and its character of the company is changing from 1833 onwards. Is changing from 1833 onwards. Changing from 1833 onwards. Next point to be read on. The Act 1833 onwards. Next one, the Act designated Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India. Designated the Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India. Act designated Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India, and the Governor General of India will have, and Governor General of India will have the power to make law throughout India. Make law throughout India. Throughout India. Next point. Hence the act centralized the law making power. Hence the act centralized the law making power, and Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras. Hence act centralized the law making power, and the Governor of Bombay and Governor of Madras, lost their law making power. The Governor General of India will also have control. Over Bengal, Madras. Will also have control over Bengal, Madras, Bombay and other territories. Next point okay, right? All laws made by Governor General of India. Henceforth will be called as act rather than regulations. Next point you read on. The Governor General of India Council will have an extra member as a law member. However, he is not a full member. Or not having a voting power. Unlike the other three members. Next point okay. The Act also tried to introduce the open civil service competition. The Act also tried to introduce the open civil service competition. But this provision was later on withdrawn. Under the protest from the Britishers. Okay. So this is something that you have to keep in mind with regard to Charter Act of 1833. Next we have Charter Act of 1853. Charter Act of 1853. The Charter Act of 1853 was brought was brought in the background of growing demand of local political organizations to separate the legislative and executive functions and to involve to separate legislative and executive functions and involve more Indian into administration The main provision of Charter Act of 1853 are: point number one, it did not extend the charter for another 20 years. Rather extended it for indefinite period. Point number two, the Charter Act of 1853 separated the legislative and executive function by creating two council Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Council, that is Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Council instead of Governor General Council, Governor General Legislative Council and Governor General Executive Council instead of Governor General Council. Next point, okay, ready? The Governor General Legislative Council shall have 6 members. Governor General Legislative Council shall have 6 members. And out of which 4 members will be nominated from the local government of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. Hence, this act introduced for the first time the local representation. This act introduced for the first time local representation. in the Indian Central Legislative Council. Local representation in the Indian Central Legislative Council. In the Indian Central Legislative Council. Next point, okay, right? Next point, okay. The Act introduced the Open Civil Services Competition. The Act introduced the Open Civil Services Competition. Civil Services Competition for selecting and recruiting. For selecting and recruiting civil servant. For selecting and recruiting civil servant. For selecting and recruiting civil servant. And as a result, a Macaulay committee. As a result, a Macaulay committee. And as a result, a Macaulay committee. Macaulay committee, also referred as Committee on Civil Services. Also referred as Committee on Civil Services, was created for the examination pattern. Was created for the examination pattern. For the examination pattern regarding civil services. Regarding civil services. Examination pattern regarding the civil services. As we read, it created a separate governor. It created a separate governor. It created a separate governor for the Bengal. For the Bengal, and Governor General of India. And Governor General of India were relieved from the responsibility. Governor General of India were relieved from the responsibility of the Bengal. Relieved from the responsibility of Bengal. Relieved from the responsibility of Bengal. Next, okay, you write down important facts. Important facts you write down. The Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings as first Governor General of India. First Governor General of Bengal. Warren Hastings, first Governor General of Bengal, and in bracket you write down 1773. Warren Hastings, first Governor General of Bengal. Okay, you write down 1773. Second you write down William Bentinck, first Governor General of India. William Bentinck, first Governor General of India, 1833. William Bentinck, first Governor General of India, 1833. Third you write down Lord Macaulay. Lord Macaulay as a first law member. Lord Macaulay as the first law member. Fourth you write down Eliza Impey. Eliza Impey as the first Chief Justice. As the first Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Calcutta. As the first Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Calcutta. First Chief Justice Eliza Impey as the first Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Calcutta. Next, point number 5 you added. 5. Lord Canning, as the first viceroy, Lord Canning as the first viceroy, in bracket you write down 1858. First viceroy in bracket 1858. Okay. So these are some names you just keep in mind. So we discussed, okay, in 1857 a huge revolt has happened against, okay, which rule? Against the company's rule. So this is also referred as what? This revolt is also referred as a sepoy mutiny because soldiers revolted, soldiers started this revolt. This is also referred as what? First war of independence. As, okay, this revolt was extended for many parts of India. So you will see nothing but, okay, Bengal was there, okay, Bihar, Awadh region, okay, you saw Mughals, you saw Marathas, okay. So Nana Sahib, okay, many, okay, participated in this one, Rani of Jhansi, okay. So many, okay, revolted against nothing but, okay, company's rule. And as a result, okay, what? As a result, in 1858, when revolt was brought under the control, in 1858 June, a proclamation was issued, which is called as what? Queen's Victoria Proclamation. Okay, it is called as the Queen's Victoria Proclamation. Okay, now Queen's Victoria Proclamation, okay, ended which rule? Company's rule, and started which rule? Crown rule. So, okay, we discussed company's rule was from where to where? From 1765 to nothing but, okay, 1858. This was a period of company's rule we have discussed. So now company's rule ended and direct British Crown rule started, that is okay. So that is okay, proclamation is okay being issued. The second important thing that you see is, okay, what? This proclamation says that British will now not interfere in which matter? Religious and social matter. Remember, with the arrival of Christian missionaries, okay, we discussed, okay, British were interfering in religious and social matter, but people did not like, okay, interference in culture, religious matter, social matter. So British, okay, with this proclamation says that, okay, they will not be interfering in which matter? Religious matter, that is okay there. And third thing that you see is, okay, what? This also says that we will not be going to discriminate between whom? Indians and the Britishers. Okay, so you know that till now Britishers were following which policy? Till now the Britishers were following which policy? Racial discrimination policy. So they will not be, okay, now following discriminating Indians. That is what they promised. But as we discussed, okay, as you read history, you will find that this provision was, okay, this provision was not implemented, okay, properly. So they promised, okay, in this proclamation they will not be discriminating between Indians as well as nothing but, okay, Britishers. And another important provision that you see under the Queen Victoria Proclamation, that they are going to respect the princely states. They are going to respect princely state and their allies. Yeah. So what is, okay, princely state and their allies? Like we discussed, okay, when this revolt was going on, okay, we discussed many rulers revolted. Like Awadh ruler, okay, you'll see nothing but, okay, what? You'll see Jhansi, you'll see Marathas, Nana Sahib, Mughal revolted. But there are many rulers, okay, who supported also nothing but, okay, British, like Nizam of Hyderabad, Nawab of Bhopal. You'll see, okay, what Rajputana states, okay. You'll see they supported also nothing but, okay, British in nothing but, okay, this particular revolt. So had everyone has revolted at the same time, then what will happen? It would be impossible for the British to nothing but, okay, control the revolt that is, okay, there. But, okay, since everyone has not revolted, some has supported also British realize that, okay, if we are not going to respect our allies, okay, then what will happen? In future everyone can revolt and it is impossible for the British to continue their rule in India. So that's why British are going to respect nothing but, okay, princely state, okay, that is okay there. That's why you see Odia dynasty continued, Nizam continued, all these continued till 1947, that is okay there. So why they are continuing? Because British is not taking over these regions, okay, they are not taking over these regions. So this is, okay, this is a part of what we call as the Queen Victoria Proclamation. So this proclamation was something that was nothing but, okay, introduced, and as a result, what you are finding is, okay, an act was brought, which is now referred as what? which is now referred as a Government of India Act 1858. Okay, so because this proclamation ended companies rule and take over the crown rule. So now this act was brought in order to nothing but bring a new type of nothing but administrative system. Fine. So what are the main point of this act? GI Act of 1858. The main point, first major point that you see is earlier we had two rules. One was BOC and another was COD. We discussed BOC was responsible for political function, COD was responsible for commercial function. This was created under which act? We discussed Fits India Act. So this was now abolished. Instead of BOC and COD, now you have what? Now you have Secretary of State and Viceroy. So you have Secretary of State and Viceroy. Okay. So now instead of BOC and COD, now you have two offices. One is Secretary of State and another is nothing but Viceroy. Now who is a Viceroy? Viceroy will be direct representative of who? Direct representative of British Crown in India. Will be direct representative of British Crown in India. Okay, so Viceroy is what? Viceroy is nothing but direct representative of British Crown in India. This is what we are finding with regard to Viceroy. Okay, and Secretary of State. And Secretary of State, he'll be a member of whom? He'll be member of British Cabinet. He'll be member of British Cabinet and will be responsible for Indian affairs. So he'll be a member of nothing but British Cabinet and will be responsible for which affair? Indian affairs. Okay. So this Secretary of State will be what? Will be responsible to British Parliament. Let's say British Parliament wants to question what is happening in case of India. Who will give answers to British Parliament? It will be nothing but Secretary of State. So Secretary of State will be in Britain, while Viceroy will be in India. That is there. Viceroy will be direct representative, while Secretary of State will be nothing but responsible to the British Parliament. So this arrangement was something that was introduced. So instead of BOC and COD, now you have two things, which is Secretary of State as well as nothing but Viceroy. Right? To assist Secretary of State, a 15-member councils were also created. To assist Secretary of State, a 15-member council is also created. That is another important thing that you are finding. And from where they are going to get salaries? Again, Indian money only, Indian exchequer. So that was also highlighted that their salaries will be coming from Indian exchequer, not from British one. So though they will be in Britain, though they will be responsible to British Parliament, but their money will come there. Things will come, expenditure will come from Indian exchequer. So this is something that is brought under which act? Brought under GI Act of 1858. And we discussed who became the first Viceroy. Who became the first Viceroy? Lord Canning. Okay, so we discussed Canning became nothing but first Viceroy that we have to keep in mind. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So this GI Act of 1815 is changing the upper level only. From upper level, instead of BOC, COD, now you have you have nothing but Viceroy and Secretary of State. Much of the administration remains the same. Much of the administration remains the same. Only what is being changing? Transfer of power is happening. Company's rule is ending, and what rule is starting? Crown rule is starting. Only the transfer of power is something that is happening through GI Act of 1858. Fine. Any doubt regarding this one? So write down, and next I think you write down GI Act of 1858. GI Act of 1858. The Act has been introduced. The Act has been introduced in the background of 1857 rule. 1857 rule, which is also referred as First War of Independence. Which is also referred as First War of Independence. Also referred as First War of Independence. Which is also referred as the First War of Independence. And Queen Victoria Proclamation and Queen Victoria Proclamation, which ended the company's rule, comma, promised no discrimination between Indians, Indians and Europeans, comma, religious freedom and no interference in religion, INTERFERENCE, no interference in religion, and end of annexation policy, annexation policy, end of annexation policy, and respect for princely state, The main provision of GI Act of 1858 are point number one, it ended the company's rule by abolishing the dual government of BOC and COD, that is Board of Control and Court of Direct. Point number two, it created a post of Secretary of State, of India, who will be the member of British Cabinet, and in charge of Indian affairs, member of British Cabinet and in charge of Indian affairs, He'll be responsible to British Parliament. For Indian affairs. Next one. A 15-member council. Have been created. To assist the Secretary of State. And the salaries and official expenditure will be borne by Indian Exchequer. Next we have the final decisions lies with the Secretary of State. and the council act only as final decision lies with Secretary of State, and the council act only as an advisory body, and council act as only as an advisory body. Next point. It designated Governor General of India as Viceroy and Governor General of India. It designated Governor General of India as Viceroy and Governor General of India. It designated Governor General of India as Viceroy and Governor General of India. As Viceroy and Governor General of India. Viceroy and Governor General of India. It designated Governor General of India as Viceroy and Governor General of India, and he'll be direct representative of British Crown. He'll be direct representative of British Crown in India. He'll be direct representative of British Crown in India. Okay. Next we read. The Act also reorganized the Indian Civil Services and it is called as Imperial Civil Services. Imperial Civil Services. Next, it extended the powers of legislative councils. However, Indians were still not involved in legislative councils. Fine. This is okay. Major point of note. This is a major point of note in the HUI Act of 1858. Fine. So as we discussed, British is promising that there will be no discrimination. Some of the attempts, okay, that were made to bring a proper governance, because British knew that people revolted against companies, so people are not satisfied with the British rule. Yes. So that's why the British set up a committee, as we discussed. Macaulay. Remember, Macaulay was the first law member. So under the Macaulay, you saw nothing but creation of Law Commission. This was created in 1833 only. This Law Commission was created under 1833 only. And what you see is this commission came out with nothing but now we call it as what? IPC. What is IPC? Indian Penal Code, and you know that now this has been replaced by whom? BNS, which is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So what you see is Indian Penal Code came in 1859. And it tries to bring that whoever violates this code will be punishing certain offences, whether Indian or European, will be punished. That is there. Then also you'll see in 1860 CRPC was brought. Criminal Procedure Code. Yes. Criminal Procedure Code. This was something that was brought. Then you will also see in 1861 for the first time High Court were established. High Court were established. The first three High Court were at Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. So first three High Courts were created. So currently you see High Courts are functioning. So from where the High Courts is coming, from where the first High Courts have been created from 1861 onwards. So High Court has also been created. In 1861 also, okay, or in 1860 also, a system of, okay, what? System of budget were also introduced. So currently you know that every year budget are being passed. Okay, so this budget concept were also introduced from where? From 1860s onwards. So these changes are being brought by who? These changes are being brought by the Crown rule. Why Crown is okay bringing this change? Because Crown is okay want to give that where the money are being spent, expenditure from where we are collecting the revenue. Okay, this information reaches to nothing but okay people, that is okay. There some transparency is okay going to be brought. So this is the reason why all these changes were introduced by whom? Introduced by nothing but okay British, okay, post okay what? Post 1858, okay, post 1858, that is okay. Clear? So you have okay creation of whom? You have creation of nothing but okay the IPC, you see creation of nothing but okay CRPC, you see creation of nothing but okay High Court which is created in 1861, you see system of budget being introduced. Okay, so all these changes were being introduced in order to what? In order to ensure that okay there is a proper governance, there is a proper governance. Okay, so this is okay an attempt made by nothing but okay Crown to bring a lawful based governance. Okay, lawful based governance, that is okay idea of British Crown. Fine, any doubt regarding this particular aspect? One more thing, in 1833 you add this point also, law commission point also, as a, if any space is there around 1833, add this particular point. Okay, as a note you had, okay, at this point, Macaulay headed the law commission. Okay, Macaulay headed the law commission. In 1833, just you add this particular point. Macaulay headed the law commission. Law commission. So in India, the concept of law started from where? From 1833 onwards, you have to keep in mind. Okay? Currently, you see nothing but okay, law commission is okay, law commission is there. Can you see this? 23rd Law Commission is constituted by whom? Ministry of Law. And what is the tenure of 23rd Law Commission? Okay, from September 1, 2024 to August 31, 2027. Okay, what is the function of Law Commission? Law Commission basically okay comes out with what laws. Okay, we have to repeal it. What reformation is required in which law, or what type of new law we need to introduce. That okay, that thing are analyzed by nothing but okay Law Commission. So currently, current Law Commission is headed by whom? Current Law Commission is headed by nothing but okay, the Justice Dinesh Maheshwari. He is heading nothing but okay, current Law Commission. So concept of Law Commission in India were introduced from where? Were introduced from 1833 onwards. So that also you keep in mind. Clear? Any doubt regarding this particular thing? So this is all about what? This is all about okay the all the act that you are seeing under nothing but okay Companies Rule, from Regulating Act 1773 to 1853. And GI Act of 1858 finally abolishes which rule? Companies Rule, and started which rule? Crown Rule. And Crown tries to bring nothing but okay a lawful based governance. That's why they have brought IPC, CRPC, High Court, budget. All these things were nothing but okay introduced. Clear? But we discussed only okay GI Act of 1858 is trying to bring a change at which level? Only the transfer of power were done. Change were not made any of at this level. Okay, no change were made at this level. That is okay there. That's why within 3 years another act was introduced, which is called as what? Which is called as the Indian Council Act of 1861. Okay, so in order to okay introduce changes at a okay somewhat lower level, okay, new act were introduced which is called as the Indian Council Act of 1867. Okay, one clear. So we'll start with this act in tomorrow's class. We'll start with this act in tomorrow's class. So you answer one more question. Can you answer 10? So two options are Regulating Act, Fits India Act, then two options are Okay, so which act, okay, has designated, okay, Governor General of Bengal to Governor General of India? It is the Charter Act of 1833. Okay, so this was a question that was asked in 2023 papers. Okay, that which act designated, okay, Governor General of Bengal as a Governor General of India. Okay, so all these points, okay, that we are talking about, okay, you have to keep that in mind. Okay, what provisions are being introduced. Okay, so especially if question comes, okay, that which act separated the executive function and judicial function, which act separated executive and judicial. 1853 separated legislative and executive. I am asking executive and judicial function. Which act separated executive and judicial function, not legislative and executive? Charter Act of 1793. Okay, 1793 we discussed, okay, it separated the judicial function with revenue function, that is executive function. Okay, so which act separated the executive and judicial function? It is 1793. Which act separated executive function and, okay, legislative function? 1853. Which act separated the commercial function and political function? Okay, commercial function and political function. Fits India Act. Okay, Fits India Act, because Fits India Act created DOC and COD. Fits India Act created DOC and COD, so that you have to keep in mind. Yeah. So which act allows Christian missionaries in India? 1830. Yes. Okay. Which act, okay, created, okay, what created? Nothing but, okay, the law, legislative power or law making power, okay, with the, okay, Governor General of India, which says that all law making power, 1833. Yes, okay, all law making power is going to be there with what? Governor General of India. So this part, okay, you keep in mind. Clear? So all these points, all these provisions, just revise it. We'll start with Ground Rule Act in the tomorrow's class. Okay, anybody having any doubt? So okay, read Lakshmikant. Okay, as we discussed, reference book you have to take it. So just go through Lakshmikant. Okay. Okay, try to read it side by side also, whatever topics we are covering. Okay, fine. Any doubt regarding this particular? Thank you for today.